Hi everyone, welcome to Logical Investing. This is the second video. Today I wanted to talk about a sector which did really well in the initial couple of months of last year, and then it kind of stabilized. Okay, and now probably some of the prices are off about 20-30% from the peak. I'm talking about a sector called as steel, right? With Omicron coming in, there are there are concerns that steel prices or steel consumption might go down by 1 or 2%. There are some news reports which we saw early morning, and then but having said that, steel definitely is going to the consumption of steel is going to go up as construction starts, as more and more infrastructure work starts happening. The demand for steel definitely is going to go up. Now let us understand what will happen when you have what are some of the ingredients which steel industry needs. One is ferroalloys. Ferroalloys is one component or one constituent which helps in making steel more durable, more fine grains and so on. I'm not a steel expert, but then I'm saying from my understanding of understanding which came from the reading about the industry. I'm sure some of you would be from that industry, and you would absolutely know what I'm talking about. So having said that, ferroalloys is when steel goes up, these constituents, ferroalloys, whosoever are companies which are creating that, will also go up. There are multiple alloy makers, listed companies who have gone up recently, in the recent past, in the first probably mid of last year and mid of this year, 2021. We are shooting this around 28th of December. So having said that, but then there is one company which looked kind of interesting. It has um, all of the ticks in the right check boxes. We will take a look at that. But yeah, before we get started, just wanted to let you know that in case you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. This is the second video. We are just getting started, and yeah, and if you like the video, do like it. That will definitely help us and encourage us. I mean, yeah, that's all. Okay, let's get started. So let me share my screen, and then we will go over here. So okay, so if we I started looking at the steel demand, right? Steel demand 2022. So you say increasing production, raw material, security, steel sectors focus in 2021, right? Um, 2022 focus in 2022. We expect 124, 125 million tons of crude steel output by 2022, and economies have been affected globally by pandemic. India has been no exception. So that is one. We will take this on the other side. Okay. Then we are talking about iron ore drops, with steel demand set to weaken in 2022. Now these are some of the. This is where the decline by 1.2% I was talking to you about. Steel prices are down, but companies are holding on. So overall, if we understand that the market, there is a difference of opinion in the market regarding the usage or the growth of steel demand, but overall long term absolutely stays bullish. Now if we start looking at ferroalloys, right? Started searching for ferroalloy need, and then it clearly says ferroalloys are important additives which are used in steel making as deoxidants and as alloying elements. And these are added in steel production not only for deoxidation but also for grain size control. I was talking to you about the fineness of the steel, right? For improvement in the mechanical properties of steel. So this is ferroalloys. Now let us go to this company, which is the company which we are focusing today, Shyam Century Ferrous. Mm. So Shyam Century Ferrous, if you go through the website, they have been in the production of ferrosilicon, which is one of the major raw ingredients of stainless steel, and small quantities of mild steel. Right? They have plants near Guwahati, and the plant also has a captive power generation unit, so they are not dependent on. They probably have subsidized usage from external sources. They are using their own power generation units, and the power generated by same is mostly used for production of ferrosilicon, which is a major component of making ferro silicon, FeSi, right? And so that is it. And then if we look at the kind of you know a product which this company has, give me a second. Let's just go there. Yeah, I think my internet is a little slow. Okay, we will go here. This is on the homepage. Ferroalloys are alloys of chromium, manganese, and silicon. Ferroalloys are used in steel making as an additive. Company has been in operation since a long time. If we look at, it was incorporated as a public limited company in 2011, and so that's where we are in terms of the organization itself. Let's start looking at some of the details related to its fundamentals. So from the stock which we discussed yesterday, we started with the promoter stock holding. We'll go there first. So this company, if you see, promoters are holding about 54.49% of the overall stocks, and public is holding about 45%. Now, in the last couple of years, the promoter holding has increased marginally from 50% to about 55%. Public shareholding has stayed almost constant, about 49% to 45%. Now, so this is good. I mean, we cannot really infer a lot from this. We will go up to the top. We will start looking at the company. The market cap of the company is about 319 crores. The reserves is about 116 crores, and debt equity is zero. So overall, whatever, so they have no debt. It's technically a debt-free company, and then they have reserves of about 116 crore, and trading at about three times that. Now, the book value of the share is about 6 rupees, and the current price is about 14. So it is trading at about double, the book value. The stock P, if we look at the stock P, it is about 8.67. The overall industry P stands about 19.9. So we have fairly good amount of room for growth if we just, take it to the industry average. We cannot normally do that. We cannot normally do that because there are a lot of factors which depends on why a particular company's PE is way less than the industry PE. There will be definitely some or the other reason, but I mean, as a rule of thumb, if we look at it, we feel that the stock PE stands at 8.67, which is less than the industry PE average. So yeah, so now this makes it definitely a lot attractive. We are also seeing a free cash flow, which is positive free cash flow, which means that the company is generating cash. It is not only in the books, but it is also getting realized into the bank. If we look at the Altman Z score, that stands at about 14.3. Anything more than 3 in Altman Z score is a good score. And if we are looking at a PEG ratio, anything less than, I mean, if the PEG ratio is between 0 and 1, I think it's a good score. PEG ratio at 0.11 is definitely good. We will go with it. And yeah, before we start looking at this in more detail, just wanted to let you know that this is an analysis which we are doing for the company just for our learning purpose, right? This is, please don't construe this as a investment advice. Please don't think that we are discussing whether you should take a position or not. You taking a position in this or not will depend on how well you have understood the company, how well you have understood the financials of the company, and then if you see potential in it, please do discuss with your investment advisors before you take any investment decision, because this is just my individual analysis, and I would strongly recommend not to invest based on this video. This is just for a learning purpose. Okay. Having said that, let's go back. If we start looking at the ROC, the returns on capital employed, we see it at 16.1%. Return on equity is about 17%. This is fairly good. I don't, it's not astronomically high. It's not, abysmally low. Absolutely, acceptable numbers. Then start looking at the price chart. The 1 year price, if you look at the 1 year price of Sham Century Ferrous, you would see that the price was hovering around six rupees towards end of December last year, and from there it has it touched a high of 19, which is about three times, more than three times its low so far, low of December, and then it has come down and is stabilizing around these 14 levels, right? And if we look at a 3 year horizon, then we don't see a very different number. The stock price had been consolidating at almost about 6, 5, 6 in the last 3 years, and then it has gone a spike. If you see these long volume bars, you would also see that most of the buying happened at around 15.4, and then this one is 15.8 levels, and today the stock is trading at about 14. So absolutely, when if you look at a 3 year horizon, these are the volume bars which look very significant, right? So you could absolutely understand that this price at which the price is available right now, it is definitely going to cross beyond these buy prices of these people. So it's definitely going to touch 18 for sure in a very short period of time. So if we look at a 5 year horizon, you would see that there is a beautiful rounding bottom pattern. So the top was made in November 2017 at about 17 rupees, and then from there the stock has gradually come down in a rounding bottom pattern. The low was, I think, the COVID low on 27th March 2020, where all of the stocks got hammered, and I think 1.9 was the price of Shyam Ferrous, and from there the stock has almost grown seven times. And then it is retracing its path back up, to the same levels. So it had already crossed that, but then it was not able to sustain the high, and then it is consolidating. If you really look at it, it looks to me as a cup and handle. From a technical side also, it looks to me as a cup and handle. So this is the cup, and then this is the handle getting formed. So once it reaches around 16 or 18, I would say that the handle is complete. And then if we take 18 as the base, 18 as the base, and then we see the depth of the cup, which would be at around 2 rupees, so which is about 16 rupees. And from 16, if we take the base, or 18, if we take the base, and 16 we add, and then it will become, it's almost becoming 34, right? So 34 is what shows up, and then it is taking almost about, probably it will take about a couple of, maybe a year or so. But even if we are having to wait for more than 2 years and to get about more than 100% return in a stock, I believe this is definitely good. Now, if we start looking at the earnings of the share, we see that the earnings have been consistently growing starting August 20. And then because of that, the PE value has been consistently falling. If we start looking at the sales and margin, we see that when we started 5 years back, the sales margin, the overall sales was at about 15.93. The gross profit margin was at around 12%, 11.61%. Then different quarters had different values. So we also saw gross profit margin at about 40%, sales at about 30.98 crores. If we look today, this is definitely looking very healthy. We are seeing a gross profit margin of about 46%, which is fairly good, right? In the previous quarters, it has been at around 40, 20, 26.55. I would say that overall numbers are looking good. If we observe this company for another couple of quarters, we will absolutely be clear what is the level to which this company will go. Now, if we start looking at some of the, as we discussed, company has reduced debt. It has zero. It's almost debt free. Expected to give a good quarter. Company has delivered a good profit growth of 80% CAGR over the last 5 years. 80% CAGR in terms of profits over the last 5 years is definitely a very good number. Debtor days have also improved from 100 to about 63. It has almost come down by 40-50%. So this is definitely good. Sales growth. This is definitely a concern, that it has almost flatlined in the last 5 years. Very marginally, sales has grown by 2.35%. Low return on equity, 8.99% for the last 3 years. Now, sales absolutely has to pick up for the company to gain traction. But looking at looking at some of the control which the company has got and on its debt, now some of the focus on the sales will definitely go in. I mean, if I would like to say that companies like Sam, Century, Ferrous, we have to be careful in terms of we have to be careful by reading their annual reports, by understanding by listening to the management commentary. We have to understand what is it that their future roadmap is. Not when so this company, the market cap, it's about 319 crores, right? Companies of this size, we definitely have to be patient, because there will be wild swings in terms of its stock prices. However, if we look at the 1 year price chart, let's go to the price chart once again here. Yeah, so we saw that the stock had made a high of 19.45, and then it made a low of about 10.45. The lows were 10.45 again, and then we had 10.85. So now it has started its journey from December. It has started its journey from 10.85, and now it has almost gone up to 14 rupees. I believe that at this stage, Shyam Century Ferrous is a good pick. And then in the very near term, I feel that it is going to definitely retrace its 17, 18 levels. That would be the target which I have for myself. But please do not take this as any target. Please decide on your own whether you want to invest in this, whether you want to take a trade on this. Yeah, so just wanted to also highlight this, that overall the EPS has been on and off. So you would see some negative EPS here, some positive EPS here, and then again from 0.11 again comes down to 0.06, goes up to 0.08, becomes negative, becomes 0.37, 0.56. Because of this, the stock has not been able to appreciate, even though rest a lot of the other parts were really good. If you look at the overall sales per year, in March it was zero. March 2014 it was zero. 2015 116, 114, 124, 133. 2020 year was really down because of COVID. So we saw 80. March 21 we had 128. TTM is already 165. So this year they definitely are going to post some great numbers. Operating profit margin, if you see, that number has, this is the highest ever operating profit margin. So company is definitely trying its best to um, you know become more operationally efficient, and so that will definitely have a bearing on the overall annual EPS. So if you really look at it, this was an astronomically high EPS. Post that, the EPS, if you see from last year 0.13, it is now the GTM is going to be is 0.89. So, having said that, this is not a stock to buy and then sell quickly. I think because of its price, because of its fluctuation, because of the relatively long stagnation of the stock prices, I would say that I will take longer position on this, probably a couple of years. I have taken a very small paltry amount of paltry sum. I have taken a very small sum. I have taken, and I'll again, just to observe whether my analysis, whatever I'm doing, that is actually resonating in the market. Again, I am a newbie investor. I'm reading about the stock markets myself, understanding the company, and so, and that is the reason why I'm just getting started. So you please do your own research, and then only you should make any decision to invest after you consult your investment advisor. All right, having said that, I think moving on quickly to the cash flows. If you see, cash from operating activities shows at about 18. There was some fluctuation last year with a negative cash flow, which is fine. Overall net cash flow is about 28, which is good. Debtor days, right? Debtor days has reduced from last year. I believe last year was very difficult for them to get their money back. Now they have significantly brought it down to 63 from 161, and even compared to their previous years, this number is way better. Inventory days, if you start looking at inventory days, if you see consistently coming down, last year again was an aberration. Again, from the previous year, 168 also. They have come down on the inventory days. Days payable, you see them, they have come down on that as well. Cash conversion cycle is coming down. It is still high, but it is coming down, which is good. Working capital days, they are able to sustain 122 days of capital, which is good. ROC, we see that about 16%, which is decent. We would not have anything more on that. So this is what Charm Century Ferrous looks like to me. I believe that has a good potential. We have to be patient with this stock, and and that's about it. Do let me know what your thoughts are related to the video. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if there is anything which you want me to focus more on, I would be happy to cover all of that in subsequent videos. And it's a pleasure to speak to you. If you like the video, if you would want me to continue creating some of these videos, I would absolutely love the encouragement when you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much, everyone, and looking forward to speaking to you again with the next stock pick very soon. Thank you. Till then, have a great day.